Hi, my name is Johan Greeff, and I chose visual arts as my creative arts pedagogy. Describe your use of a pedagogy from this chosen art form. I use the visual arts pedagogy in the following way. The teacher will showcase artwork to the class depicting scenes from the first encounter between Bartolomé Diaz and the Khoikhoi people. The teacher will then ask the learners what scenes from the story the artwork is depicting. The pedagogy will also be used in the following way. The teacher will hand out a worksheet for the learners to complete about the encounter between Bartolomé Diaz and the Khoikhoi people. The worksheet will require the learners to draw different scenes from the timeline of the encounter between Bartolomé Diaz and the Khoikhoi, and the learners will have to use a lot of detail in their drawings to accurately reflect the story and scaffold their understanding of the encounter. They will have to use color and shading to convey emotion and set the tone for their drawings. Why did I select this specific form and pedagogy? Drawing and visualizing written information draws upon the child's imagination. This will lead to the learners actively engaging in the lesson because more of their brain is engaged in the content. The learners will actively be engaged in the lesson content whilst it scaffolds their creativity, their writing skills, and their history knowledge. What value do you believe integrating your chosen pedagogy would bring to the lesson? Drawing pictures of abstract information enforces learning and helps to retain that information. The subject of history is always viewed as a boring and fact-based subject, especially the topic of Bartolomé Diaz and his first encounter with the Khoikhoi in 1888. Integrating visual arts in the lesson will be something new to the learners and will keep them engaged in the lesson while stimulating their creative thinking. A study done by Edutopia in 2023 found that 50% or more of students' brains are devoted to interpreting visual information. Therefore, drawing pictures of the content that they have to learn will engage a larger percentage of the learners' brains, leading to increased memory retention. By using different colors and shading in the drawing process, the learners will learn how to use different colors to represent different emotions in the artwork. This may inspire the learners to feel empathy towards the Khoikhoi people for what they experienced, and scaffold their emotion building and emotional intelligence. Explain your use of the attention grabber and how it logically links to the chosen lesson content as well as your chosen pedagogy. Playing a soundtrack of ocean sounds with seagulls in the background will act as white noise to calm the learners before the lesson. This sound will stimulate the learner's imagination as the teacher reads the story of Bartolomé Diaz to the class. Imagining the scene from the story together with the sound will later help the learners in their creative drawing worksheets as they'll imagine the scene, close their eyes and imagine the scene as the teacher reads the story, and they'll visually see the scene before them and be able to convey that in drawings. It will also help them to understand the content. Explain your use of the guided reflection and how it is used to ascertain whether the learners grasp the content of the lesson through a chosen pedagogy. The teacher will reflect upon the content of the lesson by referring to the learner's drawings. The teacher will then ask the learners Bloom's taxonomy aligned questions that they will need to answer from their drawings. This will be done to test the effectivity of the pedagogy in teaching the history content. Provide a short reflection on this lesson. Do you believe it would work well in a classroom setting? Provide reasons for your answer. Well, I believe this lesson would fare well in a classroom setting. Pairing a creative arts pedagogy with a subject like social sciences engages learner participation and encourages more in-depth learning through the use of multiple learning styles. Adding a guided reflection at the end enables the learners to reinforce the information that they have learned and articulate the content in their own words and in written and drawn form. The lesson requires active participation, critical thinking, comprehension skills, and creative thinking, which directly aligns with the CAPS document's requirements for both social sciences and the creative arts. The cross-curriculum integration used in this lesson will scaffold the learner's history knowledge and their drawing skills and combine the two aspects for effective learning. I thoroughly enjoyed this assignment and I'll definitely use this lesson in the future.